Welcome to the Jack
And the Bonch
Show!
The Super Bowl edition. We're finally here.
We have the Super Bowl that I thought we were going to have last year. Playoff time.
Yes.
1 year too late for me, but I'll take it. And I think we have potentially good Super Bowl.
Potentially.
And
I think potential's the key word there.
It's one of those rare instances, for me at least, where a lot of times we look at a game and we say, oh, well, it'll be close, but if one team's going to crush them, it's going to be this team that'll crush them.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at this game, and I could see either team going out and handily beating the other team. I really could. I could see the Ravens going out and crushing the 49ers, or vice versa.
So you're saying,
depending on how the game goes.
It could be close, but a blowout either way wouldn't surprise you.
Exactly. Typically, like, for example, the Giants-Pats last year, I would have never thought, the Giants are going to blow out the Pats.
You could have thought, maybe the Pats just
I could see the Giants winning a close one, which they did. But I could have also seen the Pats blowing out the Giants.
Yeah. Basically, there's not an outcome here that you'd be surprised by. That's what you're saying.
There's really not.
Anything can happen in this game. Now, everyone always loves these storylines of the Super Bowl, because that's what the casual fan comes to. Let's get the two big ones out of the way that everyone's talking about. We have the Ray Lewis retirement and the Harbaugh brothers battling. Do you, as diehard football fans, do we care about this?
Not really.
Me either. I'm glad we're in agreement on this.
I mean, if
the Harbaugh thing is cool, it's cool the two brothers are facing each other in the Super Bowl. Is the storyline overblown? Absolutely.
It's one of those things to me. It's one of those. It's a fun fact. They're brothers, and I was gonna say they know each other. They know each other.
No kidding. No, they're not strangers.
But you know what I'm saying? That's what it is. It's a fun fact.
Yes.
Oh, can you believe that they made it and they're brothers? You go, oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a nice little story.
That's it.
Good for their fathers getting every interview in the Tuscan Sun.
Jack and is it Jack?
Jack and Jet. It's all J names. Jack and Jill Harbaugh, or Jack and Joan, or Jack and Jess. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever it is. But either way, to me, it's a fun fact. And then Ray Lewis, to me, I mean, Ray Lewis. Not a player I particularly have ever been a fan of or ever liked.
One of the best players of our generation.
But not a good role model, no matter what he says.
Yeah. Not to mention this sheer antler, whatever this drug scandal, so to speak, that he's denying.
One of my friends said to me, he wrote, what is this, an RPG or something? like Link and Zelda, like he needs some deer
potion.
Right? Yeah, it's ridiculous. But he's got a shady past at best. That's putting it in a nice way.
Yes.
And now he's one of those people where I don't care if you're religious. All the power to you.
Yeah.
But he's one of those people where he uses his religion as an excuse not to...
God made me make the tackle. God made me miss the field goal. One of those guys.
Or I think when they were saying, he... with the performance-enhancing drugs, he said it's the trick of the devil.
The trick of the devil. You know what that reminded me of? It reminded me of The Waterboy when Adam Sandler's mom was like, football's the devil.
Yeah, it's just... What is he talking about? It's just... You can't ask me these questions. Why not? It's just...
Yeah, there's no... You can't ask questions. The Super Bowl, you're going to ask every question. You're going to ask, what's your favorite kind of dog? What's your favorite soup?
Yeah.
Every question is asked in the Super Bowl. And if there's a drug scandal that pops up, of course you're going to be asked about it.
Yeah.
Come on, Ray Lewis.
But it's the trick of the devil. So
it's the trick of the devil.
Not again.
That's fine.
Right?
Trick of the devil.
Happens to me all the time.
Right. Now we'll get to the actual analysis of the game. Right?
Yeah, at least some analysis, yeah.
Okay, so let's say... Where do you want to start? The Niners or the Ravens?
Let's start with...
the Ravens having the ball or the Niners having the ball?
Start with, Ravens offense
Ravens
versus
offense,
49ers defense.
Like I've said, and like we just talked about, Ray Rice not having a good postseason. And as bad as the Niners defense has kind of been average to mediocre, this isn't the defense to get a running game going again.
No,
the run defense is still excellent.
Yep.
So in my opinion, as much as I'm a big Ray Rice fan, I think you are, we're both Ray Rice fans, Ray Rice isn't going to win the game for the Ravens. It's going to have to be on Joe Flacco.
Yep.
So the question is Joe Flacco capable of doing what the Aaron Rodgers and Matt Ryan type of offenses did? Can Joe Flacco do it?
I think so.
Okay.
And a big part of the reason that I do think so is because what did we see with the 49ers? What did they give up to the Falcons wide receivers? I think Julio Jones had 180 yards. Roddy White had 100 yards.
Yeah.
Touchdowns galore. And if you think of a team that does have several wide receivers who can burn opposing
I
defensive
don't think
backs.
the Ravens receivers are on that of the Falcons level.
No,
but Torrey Smith can burn anyone,
exactly.
any corner in the league.
Julio Jones is super fast, so is Torrey Smith.
Torrey Smith might be the fastest receiver in the league. He's up there.
He's up there. And then Anquan Bolden has
what a postseason for that guy.
A great postseason.
A guy that was kind of the second fiddle to Shell in Arizona.
He has had a great
He has molded himself into a fantastic possession receiver.
That touchdown that he had last week, remember?
Yes.
In the end zone.
Yes, because I feel like Torrey Smith's going to do what Torrey Smith does. The key to this game...
Torrey Smith is one of those guys where he'll get one or two great plays.
Yes. But the key to this game for the Ravens moving the ball is going to be Anquan Bolden and I think a little bit of Dennis Pitta as well.
I think Dennis Pitta is a big factor in this
We're
game.
agreeing on this. Good. I was about to bring him up. I'm glad.
I'm really curious to see how he does against the 49ers linebackers.
He is the X factor to me for the Ravens winning this game.
Mm-hmm.
If he is able to beat, because he's going to get either Patrick Willis,
I think.
Navarro Bound. I'm probably going to say Patrick Willis, but he's going to get one of the Niners' excellent linebacking core one-on-one. If he is capable of winning that matchup, it's going to be the difference for the Ravens.
On offense.
Because the Niners' secondary is able at least containing, I think, the Ravens' receivers.
Mm-hmm.
But if they can get Pitta open, especially over the middle, that's going to make the difference with the Ravens having a decent game on offense of having one that can win the Super Bowl for them.
Okay,
I think the X factor for the Ravens is Dennis Pitta.
I can see that because you know what you're going to get from Anquan Bolden. You know what you're going to get from Torrey Smith. Pitta, the whole past few games, you sort of don't know what you're going to get. He sometimes will have those 3 reception games, and other times he'll get 100 yards and 2 TDs or something. So
he's the key to the Ravens, absolutely.
We'll see what happens, and then by doing that, then they have to respect the short passing game, and maybe you get a good play to Torrey Smith or something. You don't know. Sort of on the flip side, let's just go to the 49ers when they're on offense. It's going to come down to Colin Kaepernick. I think so.
Here's what worries me from a Ravens point of view is this matchup right here. Because yes, the Ravens have had a very good defensive postseason, but the quarterbacks they've played have been the Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. Yeah, I'm not saying against those guys, but those are not the kind of quarterbacks that Colin Kaepernick is. Those are pocket quarterbacks. Luck can move around a decent amount, but this is a generally slower Ravens defense. They're not as fast as they used to be. And I don't know if they can keep up with Kaepernick.
That's partially true, but if we look at what Kaepernick did, he destroyed the Packers. Then the Falcons, who to me have a good defense.
They're okay.
Nothing special.
Yeah.
Apparently
they can't hold the lead in the playoffs.
Well, yeah. But they largely contains Kaepernick as far as running the ball.
Yes,
they
he was able to throw all over
the ball. And they basically said, the Falcons basically said, you want to beat us? You're going to have to beat us with the pass. And I think the Ravens are going to try to do the same thing.
Okay.
I don't see Kaepernick going out and running for 80 yards.
He's not gonna have a huge running game.
Can Kaepernick be successful passing the ball to Vernon Davis, to Michael Crabtree, to that other wide receiver who's the best wide receiver ever, whose name I forget.
Yeah. What's his name? I don't even know his name.
Randy Moss. Can you imagine?
Randy who?
Yeah.
That's a different... We could spend the whole show on just Randy Moss calling himself the best receiver ever. We're not even going to get into that because I'd rather not lose my mind over it.
I think one big X factor is a player who nobody gives any credit is Frank Gore.
Frank Gore. Thank you.
He's the real big thing.
You're a big fan of his.
I do like Frank Gore. I think he's a top tier running back.
Never gets the credit he deserves as a top running back.
If you look at, he's got the stats. He plays big in big games. And
yes.
Everybody's concentrating on Colin Kaepernick.
That's right.
If Frank Gore can go out and if Frank Gore gets 100 yards, I think the 49ers win this game.
I would totally agree.
If he has that, because Colin Kaepernick, he can throw it all day. He's going to be able to run it a lot easier.
If they get a running game, how are the Ravens stopping the Niners offense? I don't know if they can.
I think I'm really curious.
Like we just talked.
I'm really curious to see how he's going to do. I really don't know.
We said X factor with the Ravens, Dennis Pitta. X factor for the Niners is Frank Gore.
I think so. It is close in my mind when I think about it. It's not an easy game to pick. It seems like people are tending to pick the 49ers. That seems to be the slightly more popular pick. The 3.5-point favorites, which I think is probably pretty fair. That's pretty fair to me.
I agree.
But I'm picking the Baltimore Ravens.
You're picking the Ravens.
I'm picking the Ravens, and I thought about it for a while, and that's who I'm taking.
Okay, so why are you taking Baltimore? What was the deciding factor for you?
The deciding factor for me was actually the game that the 49ers had against the Atlanta Falcons. Because the way that the Falcons were able to score in the first half, and then they completely blew it in the second half because they're the Falcons, the Ravens, I think, have the potential to do that on offense too, where, they don't have Roddy White and Julio Jones, but they have the wide receivers. They have the passing game now with Joe Flacco, who I think will at least have a pretty good game. I'm not saying he's going to have a phenomenal Super Bowl for the ages game, but I don't think he's going to bomb out, especially not after what Matt Ryan, who I consider sort of an equal QB.
Yeah, it's a very similar
against the 49ers secondary was able to do. So that was in the end the deciding factor for me, and I do think Dennis Pitta will be able to beat Patrick Willis. I think Patrick Willis is great. Don't get me wrong.
Yes, nothing.
But
against
I
Patrick
think
Willis.
the matchup itself is not a bad one for Dennis Pitta. And I think if he has success, I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball. That's just how it is. I'm going to go 24-17. I think Colin Kaepernick will have a good game. I don't think he's going to be as dynamic as everybody thinks he is. I think the Ravens are going to be able to contain him as far as the run goes. Right. I think Frank Gore will have a decent game.
Good enough. A good game, not a great
game. A good game.
Saying like 80 yards.
I think it's a 24-17 game. I think it's a close game, but I don't know if it's an exciting game. I don't...
Close doesn't necessarily mean exciting.
Yeah,
Glad you brought that up.
I think it'll be close, but I think it's more like, 24-10, and then they score towards the end of the game, 24-17, and then they just sort of win. And I think also what it comes down to a little bit, at least for me, is that, to me, we thought last year was the Ravens' last stand. This is the Ravens' last stand.
This is it for the Ravens. This is their last chance.
Yeah,
the Niners are going to be around for a while.
Exactly. Colin Kaepernick. The Niners aren't going anywhere. Joe Flacco. I don't care if Joe Flacco takes the next step up next year. The Ravens will not take the next step up next year.
That's true. No, but Ray, this is it for Ray.
This is it.
And Ed Reed is getting old.
The Ravens are going to be the only team in the AFC North that won't be better than they were this year.
That's correct.
So this is really it for the Ravens because that defense is going to go take a big step down. Anquan Bolden, who knows if they're even going to be able to bring him back as far as because of the salary cap issues. I think they owe him a ton of money. Or they would. So this is really it for them. I think they've got it.
Okay.
Your pick.
I have gone back and forth several times. Basically from the moment that the AFC Championship game ended to right this moment.
It's not an easy pick.
It really isn't.
You can make a good argument for either team.
Yes, and you brought up that, okay, the Ravens, this is their last chance. This is their last chance doesn't mean necessarily that they're going to win.
No, it doesn't.
It's a bit of a nice story for them, and yes, it's nice that it's their last chance, but all that extra motivation, it doesn't really help them as far as the game comes. And what keeps coming back to me is that Colin Kaepernick against this Ravens defense, it really would be, from the Baltimore Ravens standpoint, my main concern. I don't know if they can stop him. Because while, not just from the running quarterback standpoint, their secondary isn't a top-notch secondary anymore. They are missing their top cornerback. He's been hurt for a couple months now. Yes, Ed Reed could probably, let's say, contain Vernon Davis, but are they going to stop Michael Crabtree? What if Randy Moss gets loose? That would worry me too. Then I look at the other side. And I think that we talked about, okay, Ray Rice isn't going to be able to run the ball. But what if he does? Ray Rice is still a pretty good player.
He's still Ray Rice, yeah.
And I think we both said the Ravens can win the game without Ray Rice winning the game.
Yep.
What if Ray Rice has a good game? We don't even consider the fact, what if Ray Rice has a decent game? Were the Ravens able to get a running game? Because I would consider it a close game with no running game from Ray Rice, and you agree.
I agree.
You had the Ravens winning without Ray Rice being a factor.
The truth is, he has it. I think Bernard Pierce has had a better postseason than he has, honestly.
Yeah, we shouldn't discard Bernard Pierce. He's going to get carries.
True too.
He's a pretty good backup.
Yeah, I think he's averaged like 7 yards a carry in the postseason.
Yeah, it's just, I think we both said, okay, the Ravens can win this game without Ray Rice. That's assuming Ray Rice gets nothing. What if he gets something? And the final factor to me, we have not brought it up yet, it always matters, special teams. And the 49ers kicker, Mr. David Akers.
You think he's going to...
Scares me to death. If this is a close game and David Akers has to make a game-winning kick, I would bet a lot of money on him missing it.
He could miss a 40-yarder.
Yes.
With ease.
And from the other side, Jacoby Jones, the Ravens returner, clearly capable.
Yeah.
Clearly capable of taking one to the house at any time. And while I was thinking Niners for the past 4 or 5 days or so, I'm going with you. I'm taking the Buffalo Ravens.
Yeah.
I do think it's going to be a lower scoring game than most people think. I do like a little bit lower than you say. I'm going to say 20-13. Okay. I'm going to go a little bit lower scoring.
Still a touchdown.
I think it starts out defensive. I think the defenses make a stand early, and it comes down later. To which offense can come through in the second half. Halftime adjustments, maybe. We talked about the coaches, stuff like that. I think the Ravens ultimately, the special teams edge, and I think Ray Rice maybe surprises us, gets a little bit more, not a great Ray Rice game, but he's at least capable of making the Niners respect the run.
Catching in the backfield.
And with the Niners having to respect the run, that opens it up for Joe Flacco. He's able to get it to Dennis Pitta. I say one big play to Torrey Smith, and that is the game-winning touchdown.
Wow.
Yes, Torrey Smith game winner. I'm going to say that Torrey Smith is contained for most of the game, and in the fourth quarter, Torrey Smith finally breaks through, gets the game-winning touchdown.
One catch.
Yeah, he has one catch for 40 yards and a touchdown, and that's his only impact of the game.
Like him.
But like Torrey Smith is, you hear from the announcers. It's on CBS. So Jim Nantz is like, Phil Simms like, oh, Torrey Smith isn't doing much today.
And then he does.
And then in the fourth quarter, 5 minutes left, Torrey Smith burns Carlos Rogers.
Really wouldn't shock me.
Touchdown. It just feels like I thought about all the scenarios. That's the one that I think is going to happen. I will go Ravens 20, 49ers 13. Congratulations to the Baltimore Ravens.
I'm going 24-17 Ravens. So close games, but I don't know if it's necessarily a great Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's going to be, wow, what am I going to be talking about?
No, but not a bad game.
No. I think it will be into the fourth quarter, it will be competitive. Absolutely.
What color will the Gatorade be? Oh, I've got two. What color will the Gatorade be? Typically, it's clear.
It's clear, exactly. That's why was my answer.
I'm going to go yellow. How many times do they show the Harbaugh in the
stands?
The
Harbaugh, the father.
Parents,
oh my God, that's got to be. I bet that's a real prop bet. It's got to be.
I'm sure 6.
I like the who will win the coin toss because it's
yeah,
it's a 50-50.
I love that. Well, no, tails never fails, Max.
Obviously, that's what I would bet on.
You got to bet tails.
Of course.
Thank you for watching the Jeff
and the Bonch
Show.
Super Bowl edition. We'll be back next week for a little wrap up on Sunday's events.
And the season.
Yeah, just the season
overall. Legacies. I think we're going to have a lot of legacies.
We like to call it the Legacy Show because basically the Super Bowl holds people's legacies forever.
Yeah, it really does. You don't win that Super Bowl.
Yeah. Changes things.
Yeah. Goodbye, America.
Shalom.
I like when you do your boxes and then you're you've got everybody
I do that.
There.
I have the boxes. I do the boxes. It's fun.
You gotta like.
That's my one bet. That's the one thing I do participate in.
You gotta do it. 5-2. Damn it!
I know.